celebrated a politically motivated violent protest that took place in Shagamu in the early hours of Monday, during which innocent people were attacked, while banks and public infrastructures were destroyed and razed down by fire. Reports indicated that some disgruntled members of the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), whose members were seen leading the demonstration, were responsible for the protest. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Ogun State Governor, Kunle Shumori, says, while the protests were purportedly against the scarcity of Naira notes, the real intention of these elements became obvious with the involvement of known PDP members. According to the statement, it is on record that the campaign tour of the All Progressives Congress (APC), which moved through Shimawa to Ogijo and back to Shagamu, where 2 roads were commissioned on Sunday, ended without any hitch, adding that the APC rally was attended by tens of thousands of people at different locations, lasting from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening without any violence, quarrels, or disagreement. The statement adds that the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has been on top of the fallout of the Naira redesign issues, adding that the Governor had visited the Central Bank headquarters in Abeokuta, some other commercial banks branches, made a state broadcast and empathized with the people, with a reassurance that efforts are on to ameliorate the negative impacts of the controversial policy on the people. Kunle Shumori in the statement said, arrests have been made by the police, who immediately swung into investigation, saying the full wrath of the law will be made to bear on the culprits, no matter who their sponsors are. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Police Command has arrested 27 suspects in connection with the pandemonium that broke out in Shagamu on Monday morning. The police public relations officer in the state, SP Abimbola Oyeyemi, disclosed this few hours after the violence which led to the destruction of 2 banks broke out. Oyeyemi in the statement said normalcy has returned to the area. There had been reports of violence that broke out on Monday morning when some irate youth in Shagamu, Ogun State, went on the rampage following their inability to withdraw cash. With bonfires, the protesters barricaded the Shagamu-Benin Expressway and others, preventing human and vehicular movements. Nigerians, especially the residents of Ogun State, have been urged to remain calm in the face of daunting challenges created by the ongoing Naira swap of the federal government, so as not to create room for anti-democratic elements to hijack the election process. The Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, who made the plea, stated that the effects of the ongoing monetary policy of the federal government being implemented through the Central Bank of Nigeria had affected Nigerians negatively, as able-bodied men and women now spend better parts of working hours at the bank's ATM. According to Oluomo, while it is important to acknowledge that the Naira swap is good for the economy, the process of its implementation currently being experienced has created a lot of socio-economic hardships for Nigerians. He advised residents of the state to endure to the last and come out en masse on Saturday to exercise the franchise for the candidates of their choice. In line with President Muhammadu Buhari's pronouncement of the old 200 Naira note still recognized as a legal tender for 60 days, Nigerians are still experiencing undeserved hardships to this effect. Taye Ilekoba, who monitored bank situations on another Monday morning on money scarcity around Abeokuta axis, reports that the long queues, coupled with difficulties to get the new Naira note, still remains persistent. A report is presented in this package.
The Naira redesign and cash withdrawal limit policy is arguably the most conversant issue in Nigeria today, due to limited amount of the new Naira note at the disposal of the people. The struggle for new Naira note has gotten more intense as Nigerians have continued to troop in and out of banks daily with the intention of getting more cash to run day-to-day activities. The consistent long queue in banks and ATM stands does not look like normalcy, will return soon as the struggle for cash is now deemed as survival of the fittest. All Progressive Congress, APC governors, has unified with Nigerians to appeal to the federal government to obey the Supreme Court interim injunction on the Naira redesign project, saying the policy is causing difficulties to citizens and the national economy.
We urge the Attorney General of the Federation and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to respect the Supreme Court's order of interim injunction, which is still assisting.
Some weeks ago, the Supreme Court temporarily restrained the federal government from banning the use of the old Naira note from the February 10, 2023, the central bank had fixed. President Buhari, in a nationwide broadcast last Thursday, directed the Apex Bank to recirculate only the old 200 Naira note till April 10th to ease the hardship on Nigerians. On the political effect of this policy, one of the political gladiators said the new Naira policy has put party agents at a huge disadvantage ahead of the National Assembly and general elections.
You need to pay your agents in the villages where you don't have ATM machines, in the villages where you don't have POS, in the villages where absolutely you don't have this new Naira. If this policy continues this way, if the central bank fails to make available this amount of this money we need to fund our elections, definitely every candidate, no matter what party he belongs to, will be put at disadvantage.
Others have continued to lament outwardly, asking the CBN and the federal government to give more time to get enough cash at hand.
The question is the 200 Naira notes that has been, allowed by the presidency. How much of it do we have in, our circulation? The first thing is that we need to accept and agree that we have an economic setting that is predominantly dependent on cash. And if you're going to move towards a cashless policy, it has to be gradual.
It's really quite unfortunate because me as a businessman, the thing hits me also. No, it's just everybody is shouting before, but it's not that I know that it hits everybody. You can see it at my back here. People are shouting. There's people that want to withdraw. Even people that have some problem or the other to stop in the bank, no way to enter. Don't even talk of ATM.
I so much believe that federal government should look into this very policy and make a revise over it so that people of this country, Nigeria, will have access over the money that have worked for.
The policy government introduced is nice, but it wasn't in a good condition, in a good time.
This policy has done more harm than good to Nigerians, as majority of Nigerians have to go through untold agony to get cash on a daily basis. The president's directive, however, has not stopped long queues, cash struggles, protests and attacks on financial institutions, as Nigerians are still hoping the old and new Naira note runs concurrently for a period of time, comfortable for most Nigerians.
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has commissioned a newly constructed and well-equipped primary health center in Itoku, Abeokuta South local government area. This was one of the projects commissioned in the council area while on his re-election campaign tour of the local government ahead of the forthcoming general elections. Elizabeth Eso reports.
Campaign train of Prince Dapo Abiodun to Abeokuta South local government area started from Pansheki Market, where party faithful as well as market men and women rolled out drums to welcome the governor. To party members from Abeokuta South local government, developmental projects witnessed in the council area, having no doubt campaigned for the governor and all Progressive Congress candidates, and this will manifest at the poll come February 25 and March 11, 2023.
Our engagement with them, especially the help we are giving to micro, small and medium enterprises. It's actually an assurance that all these folks here in the market will be willing and happy to vote for His Excellency come March 11 and also APC come February 25th.
we have the biggest strikers waiting to roll on Saturday to canvass for votes, to bring out the voters and deliver Abeokuta South to APC, to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to Salis for Senate, and to Afakpe for Rep. Then, in 2-3 weeks' time, the massive vote for a performing governor will be shown to the whole world. Abeokuta South, as they say in Warri, not the carry last.
I think he has done things differently from the former governors, and I desire and I pray that he runs another term.
You know, when you have development, you don't have a lot of, you don't have stress to market an individual. You know that everything you need to market an individual is already done.
A very serious-minded governor. He started with full seriousness and is still on. He has beaten any other governor to it by now.
In every area, Abeokuta South is happy with him. You will see by the large turnouts that we have here already, and they are ready to vote him.
Abeokuta South is for APC from Ward 1 to 15. Our vote is 100%. We are going to vote for our governor. We are going to vote for Bola Tinubu for 100%.
All Progressives Congress candidates from the council area were presented to the people by Prince Dapo Abiodun, who used the avenue to campaign for the party's presidential candidate. The governor and his campaign train moved from Pansheke Market through Computer Village in Ibara, Omida Market, Kuto to Shakpon, Awisu stop at Itoku Market, after which the Itoku Primary Health Center was commissioned.
It therefore gives me great pleasure on this day, the 20th day of February 2023, as we continue our re-electionary campaign that is marked with landmark, purposeful, people-oriented project commissioning, one of which is this one in Abeokuta South. We are going to leave there and commission two other projects in this local government. That will probably amount to about 9 projects in the last 1 week that were commissioned. As a matter of fact, if we continue commissioning every day, we won't commission until March 11. We won't finish commissioning until March 11. It gives me great pleasure to commission this world-class primary healthcare center to the use of all sons and daughters of Abeokuta South local government and Itoku in particular, and to the glory of the Almighty God. Congratulations.
The Itoku Primary Health Center is one of the numerous developmental projects embarked upon and completed by the present administration in the state. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
Still to come, Buhari pledges support for international humanitarian organizations. These and more reports you're still watching OGTV News. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has assured the people of Shimawa and other areas in Shagamu local government that his administration would ensure that the infrastructural deficit noted in the area were addressed during his second term in office. Governor Abiodun stated this during his campaign rally in the area, describing the All Progressives Congress APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and his running mate Senator Kashim Shettima as experienced administrators that would improve on the nation's socio-economic status for the benefit of the people of the country. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
The campaign train of Governor Dapo Abiodun arrived at Shimawa, the first port of call in Shagamu local government, to canvass for votes for his re-election into office with an assurance that the Building Our Future Together agenda is on course. The governor assured the people of Shimawa of better development, especially in the area of road construction and electricity being a major challenge in the area.
ó jẹ́ kí ẹ dàbí pé màá ìwọ lásán lè di fẹ́ràn nàìjíríà pé ẹ wá fẹ́ di ìwé eléégún sí i abẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ṣé mo wọlé àbí mi wọlé èmi àti igbákejì mi àwọn ẹlẹ́dàá wọlé.
The grand rally at Methodist Comprehensive School, Shagamu, was a carnival-like atmosphere. While appealing to the people to vote for all APC candidates at all levels, Governor Abeokuta stressed that his administration will continue to look inward for opportunities to create wealth for the social well-being of the people across the length and breadth of the state. The governor also said on the 25th of this month, which is the day for the presidential election, he urged them to go all out and vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
The milestones recorded by the current administration in Ogun State in the implementation of people-oriented projects have placed the government in the hearts of the people, which will be rewarded in the coming elections. These were the words from the people of Shagamu during the campaign visit of the governor, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, to some communities in the council area, during which Melo and Cinema roads were commissioned. Matthew Shomi reports.
As the 2023 general elections move closer, the people of Shagamu are determined to reciprocate the gesture of the APC-led administration in Ogun State by casting their votes for the party, and this they have come to demonstrate by giving the governor a rousing welcome.
Everybody should go back home, I mean to their local government, to their ward, and especially to their polling unit. They should be going there to be doing polling booth by polling booth consultation.
We are propagating that every professional woman must go out there on the 25th of February to vote for Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Then on the 11th of March, we are soliciting that every professional must come out and come and pay back what His Excellency has done.
Shagamu is an historical city for area community in Ogun State. Back then, so many decades back, our great-grandfather used to trade kola nuts, which they export from here in the southwest down to the north. And we thank His Excellency Prince Dr. Abeokuta that lay emphasis, that also place more emphasis on making that coexistence more tangible.
He has been moving around the 20 local government in Ogun State. Today we are in the Shagamu. This is the Igbo community in Ogun State. We are supporting Dr. Abeokuta for second tenure.
The commissioning of Melo and Cinema roads is part of the things the governor has come to do.
Here, stopping over to commission a road that has been reconstructed by the ever diligent, hard-working, focused, deliberate council chairman. This initiative is highly commendable.
The people were happy for what has been achieved, with the belief in what the administration is capable of doing if voted into power for the second term.
But as we promised our people that they will start seeing dividend of democracy when coming to office, and this is a promise made and promise kept. So the people our people are so happy seeing that we are able to achieve success.
From all indications, I will tell you this much: we are very much in the forefront. I will tell you that this our party, APC, is going to win.
The governor then performed the commissioning of the road before proceeding for the mega campaign rally in the local governments. Matthew Shomi, OGTV News.
Bola Tinubu Support Organization in the United Kingdom, under the leadership of Otumba Ade Adesina, with professionals from all walks of life who believe in Nigeria's emancipation, have handed over election support materials to Ogun State Campaign Council of All Progressives Congress, APC, received by its Deputy Director General, Apostle Abiodun Sanyolu, for grassroots mobilization. Kolawole Osho covered the event held at the campaign secretariat, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Details of the report are presented in this package.
Bola Tinubu Support Organization, established in the United Kingdom under the leadership of
Otumba Ade Adeshino, with coordination of Pastor Sunday Shoyinka in Nigeria, through its grassroots movement across the entire southwest of Nigeria, which identifies committed men and women to propagate the objectives and mission of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's president come May 29, 2023. In order to make this mission a reality, the delegation of the organization from the UK, led by Anthony Abuaba, supported the campaign of the presidential ambition of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all Progressive Congress candidates in the forthcoming general elections. Leader of the delegation, Anthony Abuaba, said the gesture was a show of the belief they have in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become the next president of Nigeria.
We want to further show our unflinching support by distributing these souvenirs to supporters and believers of renewed hope for the grassroots mobilization. We will continue to show further support to reach out to at least 100 million people digitally.
He stated further that the organization has produced anthem to promote the candidature of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is entitled, "He will make you leaders of men if you follow him," among others.
Sponsorship of grassroots movement. We provided electronic equipment, laptops, provide mobile phones for officers to aid their daily operational activities. We also fund logistics, per diems, transportation to propagate our support for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the southwest of Nigeria.
Receiving the delegation at the conference hall of the Secretariat, Deputy Director General, Ogun State Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, Apostle Abiodun Soyaolu, commended the organization for their belief in the APC and its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing him as an intelligent and a vibrant human being who is void of religious discrimination.
Asiwaju is not somebody that takes where you come from so important, what religion. I is not tribalistic. Imagine somebody who is a Muslim and his wife is his pastor in Redeem. From 4 children, 3 of them are Christians. He's the only one that is a Muslim with him.
Apostle Soyaolu added that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is widely known throughout the nation as he was the only candidate who took his campaign around the country before the party primary.
And some people will say, it is this his head challenge. Which head challenge? It takes somebody that is intelligent and vibrant to be able to address issues that if you sit with Asiwaju, you can talk to 1, 2, 3 hours.
The campaign materials were thereafter handed over to Apostle Soyaolu for onward distribution to the grassroots during the ongoing campaign.
President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the electorate to vote for the APC presidential flag bearer, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he is reliable and will build on the achievements of the current administration. Buhari, at the just concluded African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, expressed gratitude to Nigerians for electing him to be president for 2 terms.
Fellow Nigerians, God has once again brought us to another season of general elections across the country. I am therefore calling on all of you to exercise your franchise in a peaceful atmosphere. I am calling on specifically our traditional rulers, religious leaders, and parents to warn their followers and wards alike to not allow themselves to be used by a few to foment trouble. I want to assure you that the government has taken adequate security measures to allow everyone to come out and cast their votes. I am therefore appealing to everyone to give them the necessary support. Fellow Nigerians, I want to use this opportunity to once again thank you for electing me to be your president on 2 occasions. I am not a contestant in this election, but my party, the All Progressive Congress, has a candidate in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That was President Muhammadu Buhari urging Nigerians to vote for APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Moving to other stories, few days to the 2023 general elections, Nigerians are expected to approach the polls to vote for the candidates of their choice at all levels. However, this election is coming on the heels of unprecedented economic hardship and insecurity that has affected their lives in many ways. In this report, Aderonke Adeyemi gives an insight on issues surrounding the fast approaching elections. A report.
Voters in Nigeria will go to the polls on February 25, 2023 to pick a new president. While voters' turnout has been on a steady decline in Nigeria for 2 decades, a recent surge of interest in politics and improvement in the electoral process have meant that 93 million Nigerians are now registered to vote. The polls are a few days away, and the electorate, whose votes are perhaps the most critical in the process of electing a new set of leaders, have been economically incapacitated due to hike in pump price of petrol and the recent cash crunch, leaving electorate fuming.
I'm talking, protest is going on in different parts of the country. Do you have election in such a toxic environment? Nigerian government, federal government can do the needful. What do I mean as needful? By looking into the hardship Nigerians are facing. This hardship is just too much.
INEC's insistence on not postponing the election indicates a light in the tunnel for citizens who hope to save the sinking ship of the country.
Is it the economy that has gone bad for some time? We need a change. So, and the only way we can effect that change is to go out on Saturday and elect a leader that we have the heart of citizen in their hearts, not a leader that will be fighting for their own pocket. I want to appeal to our people to go out and vote so that we can elect a good leader. We should put everything that is on ground, we should put it behind us and go out and vote.
Swing into action to pushing drastically the hardship Nigerians are facing. Because even if the election is postponed and nothing so serious is done about this cash and fuel scarcity, it will stay boiled to the same thing.
However, in a recent broadcast, President Muhammadu Buhari urged Nigerians to come out en masse and exercise their civic duty.
Again, I assure you that I am fully aware of the current hardship you are facing as a result of some policies of the government which are meant to bring overall improvement to the country. I am appealing to you to exercise further patience as we take appropriate measures to ease these hardships. I am therefore calling on all of you to exercise your franchise in a peaceful atmosphere. God willing, there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Alongside the presidential election, the voting public will also be electing their representative for the parliament, the National Assembly. 2 weeks later, precisely 11th of March, there will also be election to choose governors for 28 out of Nigeria's 36 states, as well as houses of assembly members. Aderonke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
The Commonwealth Election Monitoring Team comprises 16 high-caliber officers from different member nations, including politicians, diplomats, and experts in law, human rights, gender equality, and election administration, has arrived in Nigeria and assured of its neutrality in the forthcoming elections as it deployed its members. Its monitoring team to 10 states. The leader of the team and former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, at a press conference in Abuja, described the elections as Africa's largest democratic exercise. According to him, the outcome of the election will be significant not only for Nigeria but also for the entire continent. The CEMT also pledged to provide an impartial and independent assessment of the electoral process, which it said will be communicated through a preliminary statement on February 27.
And our mandate is to observe and assess the pre-election period, activities on polling day, and the post-election period. And throughout, we will consider all factors relating to the credibility of the electoral process. We will assess whether the elections are conducted according to the standards of democratic elections to which Nigeria has committed itself, including the constitutional framework and national legislation, as well as Commonwealth and other international commitments.
President Muhammadu Buhari has promised Nigeria's continued support to international organizations working in the northeast region of the country through provision of humanitarian assistance to citizens impacted by long years of insurgency. He made the promise in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, when he met with the Director General, International Organization for Migration, IOM, Antonio Vitorino, on the margins of the 36th AU Summit. Buhari, who assured him that the federal government will continue to partner with them to make their work more effective and efficient, lauded the organization's humanitarian activities in the northeast and northwest of the country. The president, in a statement by his media aide, Garba Shehu, said the staff had embraced the difficult terrain to provide assistance to those in need. He urged the international community not to neglect those living on the fringes of Lake Chad who had lost their means of livelihood because of the impacts of climate change and the monumental shrinking of Lake Chad from its original state. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has registered 1.6 million candidates for the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. The board said the sale of UTME forms would end on Wednesday, 2nd February 2023, following a one-week extension. Registrar of JAMB, Ishak Oloyede, disclosed this in Abuja on Monday while monitoring the registration of applicants in Abuja. Oloyede was joined in the exercise by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Education, David Adajo. JAMB commenced the sale of 2023 UTME form on Saturday, 14th January 2023, and was expected to close on Tuesday, 14th February 2023. The Oshirafo Kenegba Obade Dapo Tejosho has promised to continually do all in his capacity to ensure peace in his immediate community, Egbaland, Ogun State, and Nigeria at large. Obatejosho gave the assurance during his 85th birthday gathering, where drums were rolled out to celebrate the grace of God, strength, and courage in his many years of achievements on the throne of his forefathers. Margaret Okunola was there.
For a distinguished monarch and notable icon like him, one would have thought he will celebrate his 85th birthday with funfair. But Oba Dr. Adedapo Tejosho, the Oshile Okiono Egba, chose to kickstart the celebration of his 85th birthday with a communion service in a relaxed environment with loved ones, associates, and colleagues, presided over by the Provost of the African Church, Cathedral of St. James, Idiape, Agoku, Venerable Felix Adeoye. It was a moment to remember as the monarch was left speechless by the gift from one of his children. The train moved to the premises of Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library for the 6th edition of Praise Unlimited, a praise festival that attracted various popular gospel singers who ministered to the people. The primate of the African Church, His Eminence, Julius Abe, noted that the monarch is an instrument of peace and a royal role model.
We have a man who has vowed to himself that come what may, he will give praise to God. Abiezi has vowed in his heart just like David, who has received so much mercy from God, so much goodness from God, that he too will praise God, just as David did in Psalm 145. Being
one of the 4 major royal fathers in Egba land, the Alake and paramount ruler of Egba land, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, in company of the Agura of Gbagura, Oba Saburi Babajide Bakri, and the Olowu of Owu, Oba Saka Matemilola, were at the event to celebrate with him. Notable icons present testified that the monarch is a blessing to his family, Okiono Egba, Ogun State, Nigeria, and Africa as a whole.
Baba has given God his time, his talent, and his treasure.
Not only the Okiono Egba sons and daughters, everybody is happy today.
Kabesi is an enigma, a unique man, a man that loves God and fears God.
His word of encouragement has always been a grace that helped me to carry on.
To his family members, they said he is more than their monarch, but a man that has built and taught them a legacy of love, patience, and perseverance.
He is a very nice man, very caring, loving, compassionate. Whatever he did in Okiono for the past 30 years or 33 years, glory be to God. I think it's the Lord's leading. He's a man of great integrity. What he will not do, he will not do.
What more can one say but to thank God for a life very well spent?
A man that never gave up on his children.
Growing up under Baba was like a school away from school. He was my first teacher.
He doesn't differentiate between his children and his in-laws. I mean, we're all one big happy family.
Another major highlight of the celebration was the installation of chiefs, where they lauded his achievements since ascending the throne as Oshile Okiono Egba. The celebrant said he is honored to have attained the age and to have been celebrated in grand style was by the grace of God.
Anybody who wants to live long, the first thing he has to do is to remain with the tree. The tree is Jesus Christ. We are branches.
Oba Dr. Adedapo Tejoshu ascended the throne of his forefathers on the 20th of May, 1989. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
Happy congratulations to the monarch. It's time for business news with Opayemi Adewumi.
Thank you for joining us on the business segment of the news. The Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions has suspended its industrial action calling on banks beginning operations from Monday, February 20 to 2023. The association gave the directive on Monday through its president, Olusoji Oluwole. The association had embarked on the action following several cases of protest and destruction of bank facilities across the country over the naira scarcity. Mr. Oluwole cautioned members to, without further instruction, shut their doors and gates against customers whenever their lives are under threat. Meanwhile, amid the worsening naira crisis, the total amount of currency in circulation in the Nigerian economy has tumbled from 3.3 trillion naira to 1.54 trillion naira, a Central Bank of Nigeria document has revealed. This came as a biting shortage of new naira notes amid an acute scarcity of old currency, as inflated untold hardship and pain on millions of Nigerians, leaving several people stranded. The latest Central Bank document presented in a report by CBN Deputy Governor Fola Shonubi in Abuja showed that the total amount of currency in circulation fell by 53.33% within 3 months. Specifically, the currency in circulation fell from 3.3 trillion naira recorded on October 31st, 2022, a few weeks before the CBN began the implementation of the Naira redesign policy to 1.54 trillion naira on January 31, 2023. The bullish sentiment in the equity market, which started previous week, has absorbed at the backdrop of the prolonged cash crunch emanating from the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN's currency change exercise. Market operators indicated that the bullish run expected on the backdrop of corporate earnings announcements may be diminished as the currency crisis lingers. Analysts also expect mixed sentiments to continue this week as market players digest January consumer prices index CPI data in the midst of corporate earnings expectation, portfolio rebalancing, falling rates, and anxiety over the election uncertainty. And that was the business segment of the news. We now go back to Moji for the rest of the bulletin. Stay with us.